Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome back to The Voice Within. Okay, so last week conversation was around consistency. This week we're going to talk about habits. We are creatures of habits. Whatever we repeat, it becomes habit. And we tend to say, this is who I am. But usually this is not who we are. This is the behavior that we repeated over and over again until it became embodied. One of my previous podcast episodes, I was talking about identity and behavior. In that podcast episode, I was explaining how identity is fixed and behavior can be changed. There is particular reason why I was explaining this difference, because we often say, if I do this, then I am the bad person. If I do that, then I am the bad person. In that podcast episode, I was trying to explain and to separate what we do from who we are. This is why I say identity is fixed and behavior can be changed. Things around our identity that we cannot change is who we are, where we're coming from, our skin color, our parents, our values, our worth, our essence like people. But your lived identity is built through your behavior day to day. Your core identity, who you are, doesn't change because you have some bad habits. For example, you don't become unworthy because you don't work out. But if you do work out, then you align your lived identity with your essence. So basically, your behavior starts to match core identity. Your core identity says, I am worthy of time. I am worthy of effort. My body is precious. So now, if you invest time and energy in taking care for that body, now your behavior or your lived identity is matching your core identity. And this is where we start living in alignment, because we can say, I am valuable and I'm worthy person. But the way we prove this to ourselves and basically even to others is in our behavior, is in how we take care for ourselves. So when I'm saying in this podcast episode, let's change the habit, I'm not saying change who you are. I'm saying change who you are in your lived identity. So I was thinking a lot, how does one change habit? I have tried and tested few things in my life. I still have some habits which I really need to get rid of it. And I'm trying to find a way how to do it fast, how to do it that it feels easier, how to do it consistently without getting back to the habit. What I have realized that the habit is not always proof of who we are. It's often proof of what we make room for in our life. Under every habit, there is reason why we keep practicing that habit, because most of the time the behavior which we repeat is giving us some reward, even if sometimes doesn't look like that. Habits are often reason that covers nervous system overload or something that we are escaping from, or if we are bored, or if we are tired, or if we need loneliness. All the habits, they are covering some deeper emotion within us. So basically, they are giving us reward in some way. This is why it's so hard to break them, because then the question becomes, if I don't do this, then what I'm going to do with this feeling I'm having under that habit? So if we want to change some habit, we're not going to change it by attacking the habit directly and forcing change. Usually this doesn't last and we go back to the habits that we are used to. We change habit, first of all, by understanding what created habit in the first place, and then building the woman around whom that habit has nowhere to live with. So let's say, if you are a woman who is scrolling on her phone a lot and you are aware of it, your children see it, your husband see it, you often feel guilty about it, but it seems that you cannot stop. You're giving excuses to yourself. It's just my little habit. It's break. I'm tired of life. I'm tired of kids. I'm sick of everything. This is my little thing that helps me escape from everything. So if you pay attention closely, you will see that under that scrolling, there is emotion that you're trying to fulfill with that scrolling. Maybe motherhood overload, boredom, loneliness, nervous system escape. You are only one who can give yourself answer, why am I doing this, what I'm doing? So instead of pushing and forcing yourself to change that habit, we first have to understand understand what is that I'm craving that this habit is fulfilling. So let's say if it's boredom, then you need to ask yourself, what do I need to become to fix my boredom instead of scrolling? What kind of woman I need to become? What identity, lived identity I need to embody so the scrolling doesn't have sense anymore? You build a life, you build your days in a way that they are so fulfilled that there is no space for scrolling. You decide that you're going to start reading book instead of scrolling. You decide maybe you're going to work out, maybe you're going to every day, I don't know, do yoga, stretch. You're going to go for the walk. You're going to start baking. You're going to start doing something which solves that boredom, but at the same time, it gives you reward. I accomplished something. So what you need is evidence of this is who I am now. This is the type of woman I am building right now. Basically, you organize your life in a way that that habit is not needed anymore. If you think about it, if we take our example of scrolling, if tomorrow you decide, okay, I'm not scrolling anymore that much, I will give myself, let's say, 1 hour per day. Rest of the day, I'm going to read book, I'm going to do yoga, I'm going to stretch, I'm going to do some things around the house which makes me happy. I'm going to learn to paint, I don't know, come up with anything. Suddenly, that habit of scrolling becomes too small. It doesn't fit with who you're trying to become. And then naturally, that habit falls off because it's not matching anymore. I cannot be a woman who is doing all those beautiful things, but then I sit and I scroll for hours. Suddenly, you don't feel any more comfortable in the habit that you used to do. Habit will lose power when the woman outgrows the environment that kept that habit alive. So instead of pushing and forcing, I have to stop scrolling, I have to do it, but my children are calling me constantly and I need break and I need to run away from everybody. Build a life around that habit, not the habit to be like central thing, but keep the habit, let it stay, but build everything around way more elevated, that habit is not center of your life anymore, that you have other ways how you fulfill those emotions which were sitting under that habit. And I have tried and tested this on many of my habits in my life, and I truly stand by the fact that this works. It gives reward, it gives the feeling of accomplishment. Many things fall off naturally when we decide actually who we want to become and what kind of lived identity we want to build. And that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed. Until the next week, I wish you a beautiful rest of the day. Bye.